from here. Okay, so dive is essentially you good.
Winston.
Yep, Winston, Diva, Genji, Tracer, right? Ana. There's a bunch of different characters that can be a dive, but they play far away and then they dive in close to you. They play slow to start off, but then if they get picks or they get ultimates, then they play fast. Brawl and spam is where it gets super easy to kind of understand. Spam is the composition that you're playing currently. Spam is any composition that I already explained this, right? It's Orisa Sigma, any hit scan, any snipers, any long range characters, Mercy, Bap, Zen. They are spam characters. They want to play far away and they want to play slow. Now, Brawl is the exact opposite of that, and they want to play fast into you and they want to play close. So that's going to be Reinhardt, Zarya, Moira, because Moira's a close range character, Lucio, Reaper, May, okay, any close range characters. So now, if every single composition that has ever been in the game has been a variety of one, like has been a version of one of these, and then if it's none of these, then it's a hybrid composition. It kind of has a little bit of each in it. So
Makes sense.
yeah, a hybrid comp's gonna play split up. They're gonna really you're all looking for your own thing. That's more what kind of what you call a kind of like a ranked composition. Okay, so you guys are mainly playing spam. They are mainly playing brawl. Okay, Zarya's brawl, Moira's brawl, Ryan's brawl. Torb is a spam slash brawl. Genji is pretty much all he can play in pretty much everything. He plays brawl, he plays dive, and then spam's probably his weakest, but he can spam a little bit. And then the Mercy, not really brawl, but doesn't really matter. Oh, I'm dumb. I'm not even on top of you. That doesn't make sense. Okay, here we are. Just rewind this a second. See what we're doing with our healing. Okay, so we got one pick currently. Can you remind me of what SR this was again?
Say that again.
Can you remind me of what SR this was again?
This was just a quick play.
Okay, but what rank are you?
Sorry. So I've done I'm silver right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of people I'm currently coaching. I think I have like
good.
14 at once or something like that. So
That's great.
sometimes it just gets mixed up between everyone.
That's great. That's fantastic.
All right. Did we go over Moira's range on her right click?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So just remember that's going to be 20 meters, or yeah, it was 20 meters. So we got to make sure that we're sticking within that distance so that we can actually get damage in, which will give us ult charge, which will potentially get kills. So if at all possible, try to stay within that range on enemies, unless you are just walking into the fight. Okay. We're going for damage quite a bit. Even as we have people on our team being critical and getting sliced up by Genji, right? Genji's blading and slicing them up, and we're still over here damaging. Now, in a second here, have we talked about how to know when a fight's won or lost by watching kill feed?
A little, yeah.
Yeah. A little as in I haven't explained all of it, or?
A little as in I'm still learning.
You're still learning. Okay, so in this fight, right, we see Genji. We're down to. Whenever you lose to it, pretty much at the beginning of the fight, that's usually never gonna bode well for you. Because the only way that you can turn that back around is if you had superior positioning, if you have more health than the enemy team, or if you have more ults than the enemy team. In this case, none of these are true, right? The enemy team is full HP. We have what 1, 2 ultimates. They still have Valk. They still have Coalescence as well. Okay, so we don't have an ult advantage, and we are also not at a positional advantage. So us using Coalescence here, I would imagine it's probably not going to result in a fight win. Oh, that was so close. Okay. Right now, we just want to be backing up. We're staying in here a little too long. Then that is resulting in us staggering. So, from that point, we had lost the fight. And then we end up ulting, which is a waste. We probably still are going to lose this fight. And then we end up dying super late as well, right? And then that means that we can take a look is when we come out of spawn, right? Our teammates are now just walking back in and right, the Orisa who had died originally and the Mei who died originally are now walking in, and they're walking in when it's just them two, right? And they're probably gonna die. Okay, so now it's a 5v2 or 5v3. Now that's called a stagger train. So basically it's like kind of a rotation. So you can't. I don't think you can see my mouse. But basically it's gonna be like, okay, they died. They go to spawn. You stay in too long, you died, you go into spawn, but by the time you do that, they're already back, and then now they're gonna die again because they're going in by themselves. They're gonna go to spawn, and then you guys can potentially go back in, and then they can die. So you don't want this to happen because then you're never gonna actually have a good solid fight because everyone's always just going in one by one. Now that means that we want to make sure that we don't do that ourselves so that we can try to stop the staggering, right? We want to group up with our team because when we, come out of spawn here, Mercy's running in again, right? Mercy's dead, right? So Mercy just staggered herself. So we want to make sure that we're grouping up as a team, and that starts with us making good decisions with not ulting and grouping up. Okay, good healing. Not so good orb, right? We've talked about orb usages. When would you say are the times that you use an orb? A healing orb, sorry.
They're critical.
Not necessarily when they're critical, whenever they are in need of healing. So when they are critical, right? Let's say you have a teammate who's critical right here. Are they in danger right here? No, right? You're very quiet again, by the way.
That's right. It must be this headset. I don't like this headset. I'm taking it back.
Interesting. All right, so yeah, if they're standing right here, yeah, they're not in danger because look at where the enemy team is. So in this situation, is an orb really needed even if they are critical?
No.
Yeah, so if you
Unless
BC,
I'm out of healing.
yeah, unless you're out of healing, right, or you're trying to save your healing. But in this scenario, um, orb's probably not needed because Orisa's not getting shot at by multiple people. She's not in danger of dying. She has a shield up in the way, right? So in this situation, the orb's not needed. Orb's only going to be needed if they're when they're critical, if they're about to die, right? It's not just are they critical. It's are they in danger of dying because there's people shooting at them. They're in a bad position and they're critical, right? Remember, I think we might possibly be taking. I probably was talking with you last time about damaging more often. We might have taken this too far in a direction of damaging way 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 too often. Um,
Okay.
to where now we're not healing when we see critical, right? Remember, damage is only the default, but we're healing. You're gonna be healing quite a bit. Healing's gonna come out like 50% of the time. So here on the Ash, right? Whenever we see people who are critical, we want to be swapping to the healing, before they're dead.
Sure.
Okay, so make sure we're keeping an eye out on people who do need healing. So when we see that we're in this fight, and where the Echo go?
It was before that. There she
Right.
is. Yeah.
Yep. So just make sure that we're kind of watching out for our teammates to be critical, right? Because twice in a row, two critical teammates didn't really look at them until after they died. Oh, good kill on the Mercy, right? Very good fade out. Nice heals. You looked away because you saw that they didn't need heals, so very, very good. Probably chuck in another orb at this point. Yep. Probably make sure you probably want to stay with your team, or you can peek the side here, but don't peek too far, right? We want to make sure that we're staying with the main bulk of our team. We can't separate by too much. Okay, again, make sure.
I know exactly what's happened. Is I have a grudge against Genji. Oh, it literally is because I just like every time I see him, I'm just like I have to kill that asshole.
Yeah. So just be careful here, right?
Okay.
Um, we could probably heal Orisa and kill the Genji rather than killing the Genji. But if he kills Orisa, then you're just even, right? So now that Mercy's on top of her, that's fine. Now we can kill the Genji. But when she's critical, we just gotta maybe just look at her. Okay, swapping between targets a little too frequently. Pick something and stay on it. So we're going Zarya, Diva, Ryan. Okay. Diva, who's out of mech, that doesn't do anything. Zarya, Ryan, right? You can see like you kind of swap back and forth like 3 times, right? And that means that
Right.
we just don't really end up doing anything because we're never on top of anything. So try to keep it on the same person and pick out the same person, right? So probably Reinhardt out in the open, running into your team, because then we can maybe line it up and yep. And so it's a good decision, right? It was just maybe a little too slow because we wasted half our ult before that.
Exceeding expected combat values. Recording performance for future analysis. Objective A captured.
Do you say something? You're very quiet.
The payload.
Let me unplug my headset again.
All right.
The payload bypass this force.
Somebody get me some healing. Thank you. Allow me.
How about now?
We need to take out that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Is
Try.
it better?
Yes, that's much louder.
Yeah. All right. So it must be. There must be. It might be the USB hub I'm using too.
Hmm.
So I'll try to fix it after.
All right. So, good fade out of it. I think our fade usage so far has been very good. Make sure we're looking for our damage right now. We can also be looking to Cole. Oh, make sure you're trying to fade out of that before you go for the Cole. Good kill on the Genji. All right. Looks like we're actually playing pretty decently so far. No, don't afraid. Watch his health bar, right? Don't be afraid to get in super aggressively on him when he's low like that, right? All you have to do is just kind of walk up and punch him.
I think the reason I went into that other room was to get the health pack so he couldn't get it.
Yep. Yeah, it was just like after that we just played a little bit passively, right?
Okay.
We got it, and then look at how we approach this, right? He's like right next to us, and we just kind of, all right, we're backing off. Okay, now we're getting a little bit aggressive. Okay, now we go. Right, it's just very hesitant.
Sure.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Yeah, good job. All right, found ourselves in a pretty.
Yeah. So I didn't. I remember this. What happened was I didn't realize. I didn't put two and two together that she was alting.
Yeah.
Like halfway through, I'm like, oh, she's alting. That's why I can't kill her. And then it was too late.
Yep. Other thing to look at is kind of our positioning, right? When we isolate ourselves from our team, we don't get support, right? So if we're going up against 1v3, you don't try to take duels that you know that you can't win, essentially, right? So It's fine if we try to take duels when we have confidence in that we can win it, right? But if we're coming in here and like we're right here, right, and we see Mercy flying at us, Torb's looking at us. There's a Moira to our right. So now I'm seeing okay, 3 people are on top of us. I'm getting out of here. Do
It's
you
also
like?
kind of stuck because of the lava.
Oh well, right.
Oh
Spawn,
yeah, I guess. Oh yeah.
right? So kind of best way to go there. Just try to get out because we don't want to try to take duels where we know we're gonna lose. Yeah.
This will heal you.
Heroes never die.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Okay. Any reason for the orb there?
Allow me to repair
It
the
was.
damage.
I think it was a. Oh shit, she's ulting. Hopefully, I can save someone as I get there.
Who's ulting the enemy Cole?
The coalescence. Yeah.
Yeah, well, usually Cole isn't like a super powerful ult, but then there's like to where you need to like panic with it, right? The other thing to keep in mind is like, uh, who are we trying to save? The baby diva?
Uh, I think I honestly I just figured by the time I got to where I needed to go, my cooldown would already be up, so it was kind of a
Well,
send it ahead.
take a look at where you can see your teammates through walls, right? Um, so look at your team instead of just assuming where people are, right? Look at where your teammates are, right? We only have 1, 2 people in front of us. So there's nowhere that we're going here. There's our team's not in front of us. If we need to heal Baby Diva, then all we have to do is just walk forwards. So probably Orb's not going to get a whole lot of value here. As we see, it's probably just going to go off into nothingness, right? Okay, goodbye. Okay, there it goes. And it is a 10-second cooldown. Remember that as well.
Right.
So you don't want to be wasting it. Oh, pay attention to those
Regenerating your
health bars a
cellular
little bit more right critical. See Diva dip into that. We need to be healing her up. So far, we're like, I think last time I went over, we were saying that damage and healing is pretty much like 50-50. Here we're looking more like 80-20 with the damage healing, right? We're damaging
I
much
was
more.
aggressive in this game. Yeah.
Mm.
The enemy has placed a turret here. I'm on fire. All evidence supports this claim. My will made real.
Now, damage-wise, I think that you're doing very well. I think we just need to find that balance again in between the two.
Surrender to my will.
Okay, good timing with it, with the coalescence. Make sure you're trying to line up as many people as possible. Good job. Honestly, I think we're doing very well.
Get in there, Bob.
Team up for special attack.
My will made real.
Honestly, really well played. I think that this doesn't. If I were to take a look at this for the first time, this doesn't seem like it would be silver gameplay. And I think that if you're keeping that type of gameplay up, you'll definitely see climbing. I think just.
Honestly, I've tried to do competitive, but literally every single game I've played in competitive that has had people leaving. So it's just like I've just stopped. Like, and everything I'm reading online is people like don't even bother because it's such a bad problem right now.
With people leaving.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I wasn't aware of that, but yeah, I mean that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really bad for some reason right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like just in general, I think the gameplay's much more solid than last time. Um, I think one of the biggest standout issues was just being aware of what's going on around us, especially with our team. We weren't really aware of like kind of what our team was doing, what our team was up to, and then we were very, very slow to healing. Right, people just we weren't really paying attention when people were critical, and then that just meant that people got melted, right in front of us, and we weren't on the healing yet. So, I guess we can get into the next one.
Welcome to Junkertown. Ready for battle. Ready for
All right, so coming into this game, take a look. All right, this is a 5-minute game, so let's, I guess, go over some. Let's go over some comps here to start off. So our comp is pretty much just a hybrid comp. We are not running anything in particular. We have Diva, who's dive, Echo, who is dive, Mercy, who can be dive, Reaper is brawl, Zarya is brawl, Moira is brawl, right? So we're a mix between brawl and dive, which is absolutely no comp. There's no comp that's like that. And then on the enemy team, they look like they are mainly playing a spam composition with a little bit of a ball mixed in there and a brig. Alright, so let's see, what do we do here to open up? Okay, make sure, yep, we're trying to stick with the biggest group of people as possible, right? So we see 3 people over here. Good decision to come over and join them. Well, don't be afraid to throw healing orbs for yourself if you know that you're low HP. Also, just make sure we're looking around, trying to take a look at where people are.
I couldn't figure out where she was hitting me from, and so I got confused, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm dead.
Yep. So when we know we're up against a fire, so this comes in with identifying the difference between team comms.
Yeah.
If we know we're up against a Pharah, awareness is no longer this, right? Awareness of knowing what's going on around us is no longer this. We also have to do this, right, and look around above us so we know where is Pharah, where's Mercy, right? So there's all this stuff. We have to change that based off of the fact that she's on Pharah. So we got to look up a little bit more often. Yeah, so we got res pretty much instantly. Okay. Probably say awareness is very low. Awareness is one of the bigger things we need to work on and knowing what's going on around us, right? We get rezzed. We see Hog walking around on cart there, right? Shoot, right? We hear him shooting, right? And we just kind of waltz in there, waltz past them. Yep, just make sure that we're looking around us, right? We're trying to do our best to just intake information, right? Try to look around, try to pay attention to where people are, try to pay attention to where our team is. Then we'll be able to make decisions much, much better, right? So instead of tunnel visioning in and trying to go like this on a break, who's pretty much out of our line of sight, maybe use that time to look around. Okay, when it's outside of our heal range, don't attempt to heal it, right? Because then we're just wasting a resource.
Yeah.
Okay, good damage. Maybe a little aggressive with the fade, right? We don't want to usually fade it in too aggressively because we don't have that to kind of use defensively. Fade a lot of time wants to be used as a defensive ability. There we did get bubbled, so it allowed us to stay alive a little bit longer. Good self-heal. Right, so instead of that fade, maybe we could have just, waltzed forwards, right? Shoot. Just instead of fading, we just, right? Like we could have still seen her from this angle, right? When we fade, we could still see her there. So fade probably wasn't even necessary in this situation. Okay, good self-heal orb there. Yep. I think so far fade usage has been very solid. Knowing when to swap between healing and damage needs to be worked on a little bit. And then besides that, I think the biggest thing so far is just awareness of what's going on around you. Where's my team at? Where's the enemy team at? Right. So make sure you're just trying your hardest to look around and pay attention to what's going on. Use your eyes and your ears. Don't stare at your crosshair. We might have gone over this last time, right? Just do a 360 once in a while. Look left, look right, or I just did the opposite. Look left, look right, look up if you know that they have people on the high ground. I don't think that you struggle as much with paying attention to your HUD. I think you're doing decent with that. So I say more pay attention to your surroundings, not necessarily your HUD as much. You're doing fine with your HUD. And then also just make sure you're also listening right to audio cues.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Welcome to Junkertown.
Okay, good damage. Looking to maybe push up here.
Payload moves towards our desired outcome.
Okay, probably can look for Coalescence right about now. Combo with that Grav, right? Okay. What is what does Coalescence when you get the most value out of Coalescence,
When there's a line of people,
right? So what does Grav do to people,
puts them in a bubble.
right? So Coalescence Grav is very, very powerful because it clumps them all up for you. So make sure we're paying attention to that, right? Again, we're not aware that the Grav's really even happening right now, and then we just don't Coalescence it, right? Which could be a very, very powerful combination.
Surrender to my will.
Oh, I did.
And with our Coalescence, maybe try to focus. Have we talked about Focus Fire before?
No.
No. Okay. So or not Focus Fire. That's not my bad. Target Priority. Did we talk about Target Priority at all? If you responded, it was very quiet. Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah, your mic's just kind of bugging out there. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you now. So
Hi.
did
Okay.
we talk about Target Priority?
We have not.
We have not. Okay. So tanks. Okay, Hog, 600 HP. And then we go to Mercy. Well, now she has an extra health here, but Mercy has 200 HP, right? So Mercy is 3 times easier to kill than Hog because she has 3 times less health. Pharah is 3 times easier to kill than Hog. Reaper's a lot easier to kill than Hog, right? Brig's a lot easier to kill than Hog. So, right, Ball, he is 600 HP as well. One can get up to like 1,000 HP when he uses his shields. And then on top of that, okay, a Brig and a Mercy can pocket a Hog, for example, right? And Hog has his self heals, but Brig and Mercy can't pocket each other nearly as well, right? Brig can't heal herself too easily. Mercy can't heal herself too easily. And then on top of that, right, DPS and supports will statistically have more output than than tanks, right? Tanks' jobs is to provide space for the DPS and the supports. DPS do all the damage, supports do the healing, right? So when we're thinking of who should we focus, most of the time, if we have an equal opportunity to focus focus a support or a DPS or a tank, we should pick the easier target to kill. So when we're looking for Coalescence, we're using this coal. We want to make sure that we're focusing. Oh, wait, what team are we? We're focusing red or blue. Sorry. We want to make sure that we're focusing the Brig here, not the tanks. Right. Tanks are where we focus if they're out of position, if they're low HP, if they're the only thing that we can shoot, which is going to happen pretty frequently. Right. I don't want you to think that you never shoot at tanks. Tanks are like if they're low, if they're out of position, if your whole team's shooting at them, or if they're the only thing that you can see, then go for tanks. But in the situation when we can see Brig, might want to focus Brig because she's a lot easier to kill than us looking at a Hog or a Ball, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Plus, with Coalescence, we can pretty much go straight through people, so we don't really need to worry too much about tanks getting in the way, right? If tanks are in the front line and they create space, Coalescence just pretty much bypasses them and goes through their whole team, so we can very easily focus the people who are easier to kill.
Okay.
You seem in need of aid. This will heal you.
Justice reigns from above.
Right. Is Barrage a high damaging ult?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait. Barrage. Is that? Yeah.
Yep. So it's a high damaging ult, right? So why don't we glance to see if there's anybody low on our team?
Sure.
Right. So, right, that's a situation where we see they use ult. We probably as soon as Farah dies, or even while Farah's still barraging, we probably just go and turn and heal them, right? So when we see ults are coming in again, right? information feeds better decisions. We know that Far is barraging. We go, huh? Team probably might be low, right? So we turn, we heal them, and then we good, right? So just make sure we're being aware of what our team's up to, not tunnel visioning on DPS, right? Right now, we with your positioning as well, try to position yourself to where you're more like right here, to where you can see all of your team than in the front line, right? You don't want to be in the front line because if you're up here, you can't see what your team's up to. You're back here, you can see your team and the enemy team. So you can heal, 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 damage, 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 heal, 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 damage, 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 right? Instead of damage, 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 damage. Oh, wait, I have a team. Okay, you're all dead, right?
Repairing the damage. I know you can do great progress.
I'm back in the fight. I need heal. I'm ready to initiate self-destruct sequence. Cloning module charging. Enemy spotted.
The payload has reached the
Touch
checkpoint.
from afar.
And good damage orb.
To the scrapyard.
I will unmake you. The payload.
Good damage orbs. I think the orb placement is also very good. So I honestly I think our ability usage is very good. Our ultimate timing has been pretty good. Awareness is gonna be the big thing that we want to work on from this session. I haven't had much problem with fade usage besides that one-off fade at the very beginning. Orb usage, good, very good placement. I like that you're using the damage orb a lot. We just want to make sure that we're paying extra attention to when we're using each. Coalescence, target priority with it, and then making sure we're also using it, in combination with something like grab, and then at the same time also make sure we're focusing on we're focusing targets. We're not swapping between people, swap, right? Like we did in the last game, because then we never get any damage in.
I require assistance. Allow me.
And good healing. Right, that fight I think we had pretty good a pretty good grasp on when to heal, when to damage, right? I like that we were healing a lot there.
Taking off.
Make sure that we're paying attention to the Reaper behind us, right? Reaper was saying hi and damaging us from the side, right? So we just got to be careful of that behind us. We do have coalescence here. Okay. Make sure that you're pressing tab in between every single fight. Tab will give you additional information. Tab will tell you what ultimates our team has, who is alive, who is dead. It will tell you if your team has made any character swaps, or if the enemy team has made any character swaps, which will a lot of the time be very important information, right? For example,
I actually tab a lot.
All
it
right,
just
yeah.
doesn't show. Yeah, it just doesn't show in
Yeah.
playback.
So the reason why,
But I do tab a lot.
all right, so yeah, it's mainly the main times you're going to use it is in between fights. The reason why I say this is because we have a grab again, right? So we can be looking to combo with the grab, and then that way we get a lot more value out of our coalescence.
Right. I think my thought here was I was saving it for the last push to.
Hmm?
I was saving it for the last push because so that I could get so we could kill them to win. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you only have one ult here, right? If we look at both both sides here, they have 1, 2, 3, almost 4 ults. We have 2 ults. Okay, if we win this fight, oh well, that's yeah, you wouldn't know their ults, but that's something like I probably we were not gonna go over this now. That's something we can get to if you're maybe like plat or above. But there is a way that you can essentially you do what's called ult tracking, and you can tell what ults they have, or you can guess at what ults they have. But that's a little too out of the skill level that we're at currently. But what do you say?
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
That's fine.
So just so you know, that is a thing that you can do,
Okay.
but we'll go over that in the future if we get to that level. Now, currently, even if we don't think that they have a bunch of ults here, probably still good to use our ults, because if we use our ults next fight, right, we'll probably have the rest of our ults too, right? They'll charge up their ults, and then we kind of do an ult rotation, right? We win this fight with our ults because we only have 2 of them, and then next fight our team will have the rest, right? So if we just, like, I guess, skip forward past this fight till after the fight's done, right? Let's see, when, or did we lose the round, or do we win the round there? I guess we won the round.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. Guess it doesn't really matter. But in this scenario, looks like we only, by this point, we only need 1 fight anyways. Okay, so also the other thing to keep in mind is read kind of where Cart is, because if we completely wipe them, they won't have enough time to stall Cart from where they're at, as a full team, from where
Right.
the Cart is now, right? If Cart was more around this bend, right, coming around this bend, then they have time to do that. Okay, then they get 2 fights. From here on, it's pretty much 1 single fight. So
Right.
that means we probably don't want to hold on to our ults.
Will heal you. Surrender to my
Okay, so
will.
good. We got a kill. Your Coalescence does have a range on it. Oh, you can't see it when you're outside of. Why is it invisible? What the heck? What? Explain. Why is it
That's
invisible?
weird. That's weird.
I'm trying to show you that there's a distance on it. Oh wait, there you go. Okay, so right, so distance.
Oh.
Right. So keep in mind
Can
it
you hold
does.
on 1 second?
Go ahead.
I have a phone call.
All right.
Hello? Hello? Hey, I'm okay. What's up? I don't think so. Why?
We can hear your conversation, by the way. We'll keep
okay.
it. Okay.
They're between 12 and 3. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Yep. Bye. All right, I'm back.
All right. So yep, just keep in mind the range here, so that you're not missing out on nothing. Very easy way that you can tell this with your right click, with your left click, or maybe not with your left click, but with your right click and your beam here, is when you're damaging something, you'll see that you actually have white markers on your crosshair. Right. So it's for some reason it's not seeming to.
Surrender to my will.
Oh, I pressed back. Okay, everything's working out perfectly right now. All right. So you see that what it goes away when I pause it.
That's weird, yeah.
Surrender to my will.
Okay, so just watch your crosshair, right?
Uh,
When you do damage, you see the white little marks that come out. Okay, damage stops, not there anymore. Right, so you see that?
okay.
So,
Okay, they're red marks for me. Yeah.
oh, that's red marks on your when you play.
Yeah.
That's
They're, I
interesting.
mean, they show even in the playback they show as red.
No, they're white. It's the ones that it's coming diagonally out of your crosshair. Right there. Do you see it?
Those are red.
Right here. That's funky because on my screen that's white. I don't know why over Discord that would change.
Yeah.
What the
That's-
heck? All right. Well,
Wait. Hold on. 1 second.
are you looking at this right here? Oh no, you can't. I can't point it out. Snap my stinking crosshair. You can't see it. Are you talking about the thing that you can see on your screen right now that's above the crosshair?
Yes.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. It's literally right next to your crosshair, right? That's a damage indicator when you are taking damage. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
So
behind me. Right.
yep. So
All right.
if you look at your screen right now, when you are taking damage, you'll see that on the very top, you'll see a bunch of
Yeah.
red right above your crosshair. You will see red, and that comes from the direction you're taking damage. When you are dealing damage, right? When you are damaging somebody else, watch right next to our crosshair, like literally right next to it, and there will be diagonal white arrows that will come out of it.
Okay, yes, I see what you're talking about now.
All right. So now that we've established that,
Yeah.
right now when we're trying to damage the Bastion and we can't hit them, right? That's how we know. When we're right clicking and we're trying to hit somebody and they're out of our range, that's how we know that we're not doing damage and we're not close enough. Is if our crosshair's right on top of them, but we're not getting the hit markers.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
That
That's a that took a little bit to explain.
The power of destruction.
I'm moving the payload.
Oh, so maybe rather than requiring to use fade, remember we talked about positioning last time. Yeah, or did we talk about like general positioning last time?
Yes, we did.
Yes. So good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Right. So when we're
Correct.
peeking this Bastion, don't do a wide angle. Hold right here. Right. That way we can damage him still. Right. We get the same exact angle, but he turns and shoots at us. We go like this and we're safe without having to use fade. Right. That basically all that does for us is it just saves us from having to use the cooldown.
I'm on fire.
Right, so I think we played pretty well. We won both these games. We performed pretty well. We were on fire pretty much, the whole time in both of them. I don't know if we died. We died like once in the last game. I don't know
Yeah.
if we died here.
My death count, with a few exceptions. I mean, I've had a couple bad games, but my death count is down a lot.
Yeah. So honestly, you're playing very, very well. Main points would just be awareness. Pay attention to where your team's at. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Make sure, and then all the little itsy bitsy pieces that we've added in on top of that. Um, yeah. So we have still have 12 minutes left. Do you have maybe another replay you'd like to go over, or would you like to just play a game in quick play?
I can do quick play. I don't have anything.
All right. Then just go ahead and hop into a queue.
Oops, wrong.
You just let me know when you get in the game.
Okay.
Science will reveal the truth. Strength flows from you.
There we go.
All right. I am now spectating you.
Traveling to Hanamura.
I'll just leave this here.
I'll enjoy the quiet while it
Now we're
lasts.
cooking with gas.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
My friends, that resource is standing.
Damage boost engaged.
What a curious feeling.
All right, one second. I'm gonna go open the door for somebody. It's just take me 10 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm the only healer, so be careful.
Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Keep an eye on your health and call for me if you need assistance.
All right, I'm back.
Now we're cooking with gas. They're all over me.
Barrier won't hold together.
Where does it hurt?
Okay, so at the very beginning of the game, we want to be paying attention to our team comp and picking out kind of who is the best pocket target on our team. As Mercy does really well when she pockets people. So on your team, who would probably you say is the best person to damage boost or keep alive?
The barrier.
What's his name? This guy.
Probably Soldier over Junkrat. Soldier is a very good pocket target, as he has very consistent damage. Good pocket targets include Pharah, Ashe is a really good pocket target, Bastion's a really good pocket target. I think Junkrat's okay pocket target. He's definitely
But
not bad.
if I guess if especially if they have a lot of shields.
Yeah, then it would depend on if they have a lot of shields and the only thing you're shooting at is shields, then yeah, then you go for them.
This is not your time.
What killed you?
I'm with you.
Well, the person to the right of him. Right, you can remember you can watch where bullets are coming from, and then that way you know what direction people are at. So follow bullet trails when you're trying to find out where someone is. You also have audio cues, right, from listening in your headphones. Okay, so on Mercy, when you were, I'll talk about the fight ends here. Alright, so when I talk about a pocket target, essentially what a pocket target is a default target. So every time that nobody is in need of healing, you go back to that person because they're the best person to damage boost. So we want to make sure that when we see that there's people critical, especially, that we're swapping to other people, but then we just default back to Soldier, right? The same way that on Moira we default to the damage, right, whenever we aren't healing anything. Right, so pay attention to critical, yep, there you go. Now he's trancing, now we swap back. You're looking
Does
down.
damage, does boost increase healing?
No, it does not. Yep, that's why it's called a damage boost. Because it only boosts damage. Alright, watch yourself being out in the open. Look at where your crosshair is being pointed. A lot of the times we're aiming kind of at the floor, and that's just going to lower our awareness of what's going on around us, because we'll lower our vision to where we can't see as much. So make sure we're kind of aiming at body level.
30 seconds.
Why are you going in?
Well, not really. You know, he doesn't have to boogie coaching, so that wouldn't really know.
I will say this: I recognize bad playing so much more now.
Mm. Yep. So if you're like if you want, you can communicate and chat when you want people to listen to you. Say, don't go in, don't go in. You can call people out specifically, so you can say, Zenyatta, don't go in. Everyone's dead and spawn, right? That type of thing, and then that way people aren't. Oh, unfortunate. Pay attention to time bank, because maybe we could have touched with Valk or something like that, right? But probably say the big thing. You don't play. Do you play Mercy often?
I try to switch between the two just so I can, because I enjoy both of them. So I switch between the two, and if they don't have a lot of jumping around characters, I'll play Mercy more. Like I won't play Mercy if if DPS is Tracer, or I can't even think of another one. But if there's someone that's hard to heal, I won't play. I won't play Mercy.
Uh-huh.
I hate that's a people who run away from healers. I'm just like, stop! I'm trying to heal you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
Tracer is a very self-sustained character, so she kind of keeps
yeah.
herself alive. All right, so we have 3 minutes, so I don't know if we have enough time for another quick play game, but I guess just as a refresher, and then we
Good.
can open up the questions. But refresher, or I guess sorry, what would I even call this? The reiteration, right? What did we talk about this session? Awareness. Make sure you're looking around you. Pay attention to where your team's at, where the enemy team's at. There's a lot of indicators for where people are at, right? Sound cues, like in-game, visual cues, right? You have your red damage, or you have the red markers on your screen when you're taking damage. You see bullets going from place to place. You can see your teammates through walls, right? So look side to side, do a quick 360 once in a while, look up if you know that they have a Pharah. Then on top of that, we've gone over a bunch of different things. Watch kill feed to know if you're winning or losing a fight. Look to, when you're using coalescence, to um, really pay attention to focusing down the right targets, right? We went over target priority. Try not to focus tanks unless they're the only thing you can shoot at, unless they are low or they're out of position. Now, besides that, make sure you're standing next to cover, right? Using the cover well. And then that pretty much is it. And then we also talked about a lot of other tinier things that will come up at some point. Do you have any questions about anything that we've talked about?
Not that I could think of.
All right. Well,
Is